discussion on knowing more about tampons and menstrual cups. For this discussion, I will be your host. I'm Seema Bhatia, a health and wellness expert and a medical writer at BabyChakra. And we have two great panelists. This is Dr. Snehal and Shruthi Jain. Dr. Snehal is a gynecologist and a fertility specialist, and Shruthi Jain is a yoga therapist and pre and postnatal trainer. I welcome you both, and I would love to know more about you. Going with you, Dr. Snehal.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you, Seema, for inviting me here. I'm Dr. Snehal Kohale. I am gynecologist and fertility specialist. I work at OVA Fertility and Women Care, which is situated at Thane, Mumbai, and we deal with sort of all ages of the women health, fertility, maternity, gynecology, and even the adolescent health, menopausal health, everything related to the women. And you can follow me at my Insta page, Dr. underscore Snehal underscore Kohale. And you can even go on www.theovacare.com.
Thank you, Dr. Snehal. Over to you, Shruti.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Seema. Thank you, Dr. Snehal. My name is Shruthi Jain. I'm a certified yoga therapist, a pre and postnatal fitness trainer, a childbirth educator, and also a Boston qualified marathon runner. You can find me and follow me on my Instagram pages, shruti.yoginirunner, and our business page, yonitara.birth. I run an online fitness studio. And along with that, I also work with a doctor, and we run pregnancy support services, preconception support services, and postnatal support services. When I say support services, we provide fitness support, nutrition support, relaxation, Garbha Sanskar, a lot of other things. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you, Shruti. That was a great introduction. So let's dive into the topic of knowing more about tampons and menstrual cups. So, with so many menstrual essentials that we have in the market today, right from the sanitary pad, which was the classic one, to the tampons, menstrual cup, so there's a lot of confusion on what to use and when to use. Is it fit for every age? So today we'll burst all that myth, and we'll have a round of questions for you both, depending on your specialty. So since Shruti is a yoga expert, so we'll know all about exercising and using these menstrual essentials. And with you, Dr. Snehal, we'll be covering about what is the benefit of tampons and menstrual cups over the classic sanitary pads that we used to use previously.
Yes.
So my first question will be, what are tampons and menstrual cup? Introduce more about these two essentials that we have to our audience, and how are they better with the sanitary pads that we classically used to use?
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yes. So basically, yeah, this is really very important topic and still very least talk about. So it is really a great initiative from Baby Chakra to have a discussion on this topic. So as you rightly said, Seema, there are lot many things available in the market, and most commonly used is the sanitary pads, which is the external use. And now there is something called during these days the products which are to be used internally, those are called as tampons or menstrual cup. Now those are both two are the different devices. When we talk about the tampons, so it is just a kind of a cotton which is in the cylindrical shape, and which is to be inserted in the vagina, and it works with the principle of absorbing the blood, menstrual blood. And the another what we have is the menstrual cup, which is the dome shaped plastic material made up of medical graded silicons, and again that has to be inserted in the vagina during menstruation. And main its uses, like it collects the menstrual blood, so it doesn't absorb, it collects the menstrual blood. So that is the difference between two. And definitely they are more preferred over sanitary pads. So I think we'll cover it in the next again further answers about it.
sure. Thank you for your wonderful answer. So Over to you, Shruti. So my question to you is, can we exercise using these menstrual essentials, that is tampons and menstrual cup? Is it easy to exercise, or there are some challenges that you face?
If I had to answer this question in one answer, my answer would be absolutely yes. And I'll also answer this in terms of one, the technical part of it, and also from personal experience, because I have been using tampons for almost I used tampons for almost 10 years and moved to menstrual cups about 4 years. And as an endurance athlete, yoga trainer, somebody who does a lot of fitness, I have not found more comfort. So it is definitely a lot more comfortable to use it. So you can totally do all your exercises while using these products versus when you used your traditional sanitary napkins. If you're sweating, if you're, I mean, in a country like India where it's mostly always humid,
Yeah.
it is uncomfortable. Chafing. So all of these problems can be avoided. So yes, go ahead, exercise with these products. Very comfortable. Yes. So if
Unpreferred,
I've
yeah.
answered in one small, yes, go ahead, use them. They're very comfortable, no problems at all.
Okay. So I guess that's pretty convincing from you being a yoga person, of course, a therapist, and with so many things that you've done in your field of exercise. I'm sure like people are pretty convinced today to use them now from henceforth. So over to you, Dr. Snehal. My next question is: can tampons and menstrual cups be used when like a woman is facing a vaginal infection?
Yeah, yes. Now, this is a really good question because when we see its use, people are pretty confused. When should we use and how to be used? How to be used is one different thing, but yes, ideally during the active vaginal infections, it's very difficult to use it. So we need to first have a proper treatment. We need to visit a gynecologist, get it checked, and accordingly we need to treat first vaginal infections, and then only we should be using it, because these are the products to be inserted in the vagina. And especially tampons and all, if it is inserted for longer time, or if it is not removed maybe for one day, an active infection is there, it might lead to the further complications. So ideally not to be used. But as you were discussing in the last question, still the comfort zone wise, as Shruti rightly said, I mean, doing so many parts and having a very active lifestyle, it really helps. And another thing about this environmental point of view, as you were asking me, yes, it is much more better than the sanitary pads, because there was some statistics I was going through, like averagely, women in her lifetime will have 3,000 days of the menstrual cycle. I mean, 3,000 days she will have these menstrual cycle, and on an average, almost say 17,000 pads will be generated. Okay,
Right.
with comparing the average flows. And when we dispose them, as you know, that is the biggest problem with that. And it gets, there are chances of the infections which are spreading. There are chemical problems, so the chemicals which are used to make the pads, especially compress that cotton, and those what you can say, those chemicals for the scent purpose, like giving the aromas, that interferes, that has some dioxins and all. And to some extent it is a carcinogenic also. I mean, it's very dangerous to water waste we create out of that. So
Right.
instead of that, definitely these two products are very useful, but definitely not in the active vaginal infections. You need to visit your gynecologist, get yourself checked, and get yourself treated with that, and then definitely you can use these products.
Thank you, Dr. Snehal. That was quite informative. So over to you, Shruti. So my next question to you is: what are the precautions that one must take when exercising or training, or like weight training, heavy exercises when you tend to do? Are there a few precautions that a person needs to take when wearing tampons or menstrual cup?
So one of like few of the things that I definitely keep in mind when depending on the exercise that you're doing. So usually what happens is when people are physically active, especially on the high people who are endurance runners or high intensity athletes or people who are doing weight training, their pelvic floors are usually very strong. And pelvic floor is a string of muscle that supports your base organs or the organs. Think of it like a hammock, and your menstrual cup or your tampon will slide, and the pressure of that pelvic floor can move these products. So if you are an endurance athlete, if you're using a tampon, make sure right before your exercise you use a fresh one. Or if it's like if you're close to changing, then make sure you use a fresh one, because usually the pressure will move it. Personally, if you're using a menstrual cup, make sure you're using a firm one or a semi-firm cup and not a very soft cup, because if you have a strong pelvic floor muscle, that cup can move. Or usually there is a vacuum that is created, right? And that
Right.
vacuum will move away. So then you can have leakages, and you want to avoid doing those things. A few more things to keep in mind, in case if you're using a cup and the stem is very long when you're doing like yoga exercises, and if you're moving your body in certain ways, and if that stem, sometimes because of the poses, the stem can move, or will cause discomfort, so you can adjust the stem. It's absolutely okay to cut the stem of the cup, make sure it fits you, ensure you get the right size. It's very important. You have to get the right size of the cup. One more thing I keep in mind, as a marathon runner, you're doing 42 kilometers. It's absolutely, oh, I mean, what I do is when I start my training, I make sure to change I clean my cup, refill it, so that I'm starting fresh. So I don't have any leakages, I'm feeling light. So these are the things that I tend to keep in mind. How many times a tampon is meant to be changed every 6 to 8 hours. Same with a cup, depending on your flow. When I used a tampon, I felt like I needed to change it a lot more. While with a cup, I 8 hours is good for me with my flow, so that works. You can absolutely swim with a tampon, or I mean, I know lots of I have a lot of swimmer friends, and they find it so comfortable to use a tampon or a menstrual cup and swim. But again, when you're swimming, you have to absolutely make sure that you change right before you enter the swim. Yeah, it's important, because otherwise you can have some leakages, and that can be uncomfortable. So these are the cautions that I would keep in mind before starting my workout.
Okay. Thank you, Shruti. So, coming to you, Dr. Snehal, what are the hygiene practices that one must follow when using this menstrual cup or a tampon? Because there is a lot of myth that, if I insert something in my vagina, then definitely it's going to cause an infection. So, what are the hygiene protocols that one needs to follow for that?
Yeah, that is very important to know. And in general, of course, I would like to mention even the general hygiene practices which we have to follow during the menstruation. So, yeah, during the menstruation, the routine thing is properly cleaning and washing the part, not using any chemicals but soap and water normal after urination, after passing motion. That is very important. And especially while we are using these products like tampons and cups, we have to wash our hands with soap and water clear. We have to clean it properly. And even when we are using especially the menstrual cups, okay, that has also to be cleaned properly. And after the cycle is over, then we sterilize them also. We advise those cups to be sterile with a boiling water, and then it has to be properly dried up and then kept in a dry place, covered in a small container. So that is very very important. And especially as we also talk that it might so see, it is not, if we follow these hygiene practices, it will not give you infection. It is
Correct.
very very comfortable. So that is very important to have those things. And I think I just saw one question from for me, that was like, how many menstrual cups a day is normal? So generally, depending upon the size of the cup, they have the capacity.
Right.
Like there are different sizes, like extra small, small, large. So generally it varies from, say, extra small is say 16 ml, then small is 22 ml, and large is 30 ml. So generally in a day, one cup is more than enough, unless and until you have a very heavy flow for some other reasons, medical reasons, or as Shruti was mentioning about, if you are going for some heavy exercises or swimming or that sort of, then only you have to change in between. Otherwise, one per day is more than enough. And I think there was one question I saw for me was, how do I know if my
Right.
menstrual cup is too high? Yes. So basically, it is very important. As I said, you need to know what size we are using. Okay. And once, at least what we suggest is, it's better. There are many videos also available, and generally the extra small size is less than 18 years. Then small size would be 18 years, and those who have had the cesarean deliveries, and large generally those who have had the I mean the normal deliveries. So
Right.
accordingly we can get it checked. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Snehal. Back to you, Shruti. So, I have a question which is like specially for you, you being an athlete. So, as per your opinion, since you work out so much, you have so many endurance workouts that you keep on doing. So, what is your preferred menstrual essential? Like from tampons to menstrual cups, what is the one thing that you vouch for that? Yeah, this is the most comfortable one to wear during exercises.
For me, it has been menstrual cup,
Okay,
and it has been a game changer for me, honestly. In fact, one of my most important races, which was the Berlin Marathon, I had to run it on my period, and I did it with a cup, and I had no issues. You know, you forget you have your period. I mean, fortunately, I also don't have too many menstrual related issues. My cramps are okay. You know,
right,
I'm relatively active, so I don't have those issues, and menstrual cup has been a game changer for me. But of course, I follow all the hygiene that Dr. Snehal has been talking about all this while. So yes, it has been game changer, but you also have to ensure that you follow all the hygiene,
right,
ensure that you find the right fit for you. It might take you one or two times to figure out what is your size. If is the cup firm enough for me? Is it comfortable? Have I also sometimes, like, I know a lot of women, they ask me, how do you know if it's fit well?
right.
So it takes a couple of times, right? But once you have that sorted, it has been a game changer for me.
Okay, thank you, Shruti. So we have an audience question for you. There's new product called menstrual disc in the market. What do you have to say about? Have you had time to explore that particular essential?
I did a lot of reading, and from what I read, it's not very different from a menstrual cup. And I am honestly, to be honest, I haven't tried it yet, and I'm actually going to give it a go because I usually like to try these new things out. It is, from what I read, and from what I understand, it is absolutely safe. Doctors approve of it, so I want to give it a go, and see how my training and my yoga practice
Works out with it, right?
feels with all of these with this new product in the market.
Okay. Thank you, Shruti. So I guess we've covered all the questions from the audience and all that we had on request from the BabyChakra app. So I would like you to have a takeaway message for our audience, starting with you, Dr. Sneha.
Yeah, so I really want to tell everyone ki please don't have taboos for discussing these topics, because this is very very important. And definitely we vouch for using good environment friendly these menstrual accessories, especially the menstrual cup. You do give it a try and spread awareness. Now that you know, tell others. And we are all here always, to talk about, burst the myths, and to tell you all the right scientific facts.
Thank you, Dr. Sneha. Over to you, Shruti.
My message to all the ladies out there is that don't let your mindset or ideas about menstruation stop you from doing what you want to do. And if the issue is product related, we have solutions. So go ahead, take them, empower yourself, and do what you need to do.
Thank you, Shruti. So big thank you to our audience and the panelists. You were great. I guess it was a very informative session from your side. I hope our audience will benefit a lot from the same. A very big thank you from Baby Chakra team and from my end to be a part of this. I hope your audience will, love the session and will be, waiting for another session from your end with maybe where you can talk about the menstrual this time, Shruti, once you explore it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And I hope to see you guys again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, doctor. So
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you, Seema. Thank you, Baby Chakra.
Thank you so much. Take care and have a nice
thank
day.
you.